A theme park that cost $7 billion just turned 1 year old. A $500 million Orlando Magic District that was supposed to be rising by now and still hasn't even broken ground. A Top Chef winner opening his first ever restaurant right here in town. The movie theater at the mall where half of Orlando grew up just went dark forever. And after almost 10 years, one of the most painful landmarks in our city finally came down to make way for something beautiful. And this is what's new in Orlando, your July 2026 edition, so let's get into it. Let's start with the big one, Universal's Epic Universe. The $7 billion theme park out of Universal Boulevard and Sand Lake just celebrated its first birthday on May 22nd. When Epic opened on May 22nd, 2025, it became the first entirely new major theme park to open in the United States in 25 years. Visit Orlando CEO literally called it that. And the last time Orlando got a brand new theme park was Disney Animal Kingdom back in 1998. 5 theme park worlds: Celestial Park, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, and the Dark Universe. And the numbers here are honestly staggering. A UCF economist, Dr. Sean Snaith, projected Epic would generate $2 billion for the state of Florida in its first year alone and create more than 17,500 jobs in 1 year. Comcast theme parks revenue jumped 24% to about $2.33 billion in the first quarter of 2026, with profits up a third. And they said straight out it was fueled by Epic Universe. And get this, Universal built on about 110 acres, but they own hundreds of additional acres around it. The general manager, Jeff Polk, basically said, "We built for the long haul and there's much more to come." Now here's my take. For us in the real estate world, Epic isn't just a theme park. It is the single biggest reason the entire southwest side of the metro, Horizon West, Winter Garden, and the whole tourism corridor keeps exploding with jobs, housing demand, and new restaurants. When a $7 billion acre lands, everything around it appreciates. Although it hasn't been all magic, I want to be honest with you about that. The park had a tragedy in its first year. A guest died after riding one of the coasters, and the family reached a settlement with Universal. And a year in, annual pass holders still don't have full access because they're managing capacity at the moment. So it is a phenomenon, but a maturing one at that. What do you think Universal will build on all the extra land? Drop your guess in the comments. I'm seeing a lot of people say Zelda or Wicked. Real quick, if we haven't met, I'm Gianni Almeida. I'm actually a real estate agent here in Orlando, and I've called Central Florida home for about a decade now. I've been helping people buy and sell here for 3 of them now. I work with tons of families and professionals relocating to Orlando from out of state, so staying on top of what's actually changing in the city is literally my job. Every month, I break down the biggest openings, closings, and changes across Orlando, so whether you're thinking about moving here or you already called it home, you always know what's going on. If that's useful to you, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. And if you got a question about a specific neighborhood, my info's in the description down below, but let's get back to the news for now. Story number 2 is one I get asked about constantly: Westcourt. Westcourt is a $500 million, roughly 900,000 square foot sports and entertainment district planned right next to the Kia Center downtown. It's backed by the DeVos family, the owners of the Orlando Magic, along with JMA Ventures and the Machete Group. This spring, they officially named Turner Construction as the general contractor for the entire project. We're talking a 265-room Kimpton Hotel, 269 high-rise apartments, up to 310,000 square feet of office, 125 square feet of shops and restaurants, and a 3,500 capacity Live Nation concert venue. Also, a 1.5 acre park, all designed to turn downtown from a place you visit on game night into a place you actually live, work, and hang out every single day. But here's the twist, and this is the honest part. Westcourt was supposed to break ground back in 2025, and it still has it in mid-2026. The developers came right out and said the delay's completely about money. Machete's Dave Carlock told Growth Spotter that the tariffs set us back a year because their subcontractors couldn't lock in pricing on lumber and steel, and the lenders got extremely nervous. So groundbreaking is now targeted for later in 2026, and the opening has slipped to at least 2028. My take, this is a perfect example of national headlines hitting a local project right in the wallet. The good news, just a few blocks away in a creative village, developer Craig Usler actually did break ground in January on a $60 million mixed-use building. He joked, "There's only 2 cranes in downtown Orlando at the moment." So downtown is still moving. Westcourt is just a giant that's taking a little bit longer to wake up. If you're buying downtown, this is the project to watch. When those cranes finally go up next to the arena, it changes everything on the west side. Okay, story 3, and this one is delicious. Orlando's food scene is having a serious moment. Top Chef Season 3 winner Huang Huyn is opening his first ever Orlando restaurant. It's called Pomelo over in the Mills 50 district on North Mills Avenue. Think bold Southeast Asian flavors, live fire cooking, seafood towers, and a big outdoor patio. Downtown, the long-awaited Eola Food Hall is finally coming together across the public library, a 15,000 square foot, 2-story space with around a dozen local vendors, a small fine dining restaurant, and a speakeasy with floor-to-ceiling views of Lake Eola. And over at the Mills Market, Cowboy Curry, a Japanese beef curry spot from the chef behind the 2-star Sorakura, is already opened. This is not a fluke. When the Michelin Guide updated its Florida list in late May, Orlando Sorakura held on to 2 stars, one of only 2 restaurants in the entire state at that level. And the city racked up dozens more honors. From one-star spots to Big Gourmand, a decade ago, they would have been unthinkable here. People still think Orlando is just theme park turkey legs. That reputation is completely dead. When James Beard nominees and Top Chef winners are betting their own names on neighborhoods like Mills 50, Winter Park, Thornton Park, that tells you the local year-round population is now big enough and discerning enough to support world-class food cuisine. For anyone relocating here, you are not giving up good dining to move here. What neighborhood do you want me to do a full food tour of next? Tell me in the comments. Now, we get to the part of the city that's going away because it's not all ribbon cuttings. Orlando's Fashion Square Mall. In March, the Premier Cinema 14, the movie theater inside the mall, closed for good after 22 years. And losing the theater matters because it was basically the mall's last real reason to show up. The backstory, Fashion Square Mall opened back in 1973. For folks who grew up here in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, this was the spot. First dates, back to school shopping, the whole thing. But it's been in a slow decline for years now. Sears closed and got demolished. JCPenney closed in 2020, and the inline stores trickled out. Here's why it's stuck in limbo, and it's a crazy real estate story. One company, Unicorp, owns the land underneath the mall, but the bank, Bancorp, owns the actual building. They can't agree on what those buildings are actually worth, so a proposed $1 billion open-air redevelopment, apartments, office, and new theater just sit there frozen. This one's bittersweet, but nobody loves seeing a dead mall rot on Colonial Drive. It's a genuine eyesore right now, but the corner is too valuable to stay dead forever. When the ownership knot finally gets untied, it could become one of the better infill redevelopments in the city. If you grow up going to Fashion Square Mall, drop a memory in the comments. I genuinely love to read them. In story 5, it's a heavy one, but in print, and it deserves a moment. In March, the city of Orlando began demolishing the Pulse nightclub, nearly 10 years ago after the June 2016 tragedy that took 49 lives. In the weeks before, the iconic sign came down, the fence went up, and the city carefully preserved items from the site. The reason this is happening now is actually hopeful. The building is coming down to make room for a permanent memorial with a waterfall, a fountain, seating, and the names of all 49 victims. Mayor Buddy Dyer called it more than a demolition, a major step towards the completion of a permanent memorial for the families and survivors deeply deserved. I'm not going to dress this up. For a lot of Orlando locals, that building was the last physical connection to people they lost. Watching it come down is truly painful, but a memorial that honors all 49 names in a space the community can actually gather in is the right next chapter. Orlando showed the world what Orlando United meant in 2016. This is us keeping that promise. If you have a connection to Pulse, the comments here are open, and this is a safe place for you. Over at Universal, they're also tearing down Lost Continental at Islands of Adventure. The old Sinbad Theater is basically gone now, and the beloved Mythos restaurant, which won Best Theme Park Restaurant in the world 10 times, closes for good in 2027. End of an era for longtime locals. Let's end on what's about to drop, the stuff that you can actually do this month. First, food. It's Bite 30 season. That's Orlando's biggest citywide dining event where dozens of restaurants do $38 3-course dining menus running June 1st through July 13th. It is the single best, cheapest way to try the high-end spots you've been eyeing. Second, and a blast from the past, Jack in the Box is opening on South John Young Parkway, listed for July. And that's a big deal because Jackbox hasn't been in Florida for over 30 years until this year. Third, for families, SeaWorld's Electric Ocean nighttime event runs June 12th through early September with the new drone show and fireworks. And on the horizon this summer, Outflagdies has coming, not confirmed to the day, but the world's largest Build-A-Bear flagship store at Icon Park, the Museum of Ice Cream at the Point Orlando, Six Ravens, the new savory spot from Gideon's Bakery team at Disney Springs, and SeaWorld's new SeaQuest Dark Ride, Mainstream Magic What Now. This is exactly why Orlando keeps showing up on the fast-growing region list. There is always a next thing. We added almost 38,000 new residents in a single year. That's roughly 725 people a week moving here. And a brand new pro football team, the Orlando Storm, just wrapped up its first season downtown, and the city is genuinely in a tear. So that's your July. A theme park flexing at 1 year old, a $500 million district stuck at the starting line, a Top Chef putting down roots, a beloved mall fading out, a sacred space transforming into a memorial, and a summer full of openings. If you want to understand where the city is actually heading, go watch this next video. I broke down how Orlando is changing neighborhood by neighborhood and where I think the smart money is moving by 2035. It's right here, and it pairs perfectly with everything we just covered. And subscribe, because I do videos like this every single month, so you're on top of everything. Also, if you're one of the thousands of people moving to Orlando this year and you want a head start, I put together a free Orlando relocation guide. Neighborhoods, price ranges, commute times, the real stuff. Grab it in the link in the description, or you can reach out to me directly. I'd love to help you find your spot in the city beautiful. I'm Gianni Almeida. We'll see you on the next one.